Holy moly, Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 7, the finale just happened. So we're going to talk spoilers of what happened tonight's episode, and I'm going to really clarify what this means after this episode and what to come for Season 8. Jon and Daenerys at the end of this episode. I think Daenerys is going to get pregnant. We all knew that was going to happen. We all knew they were going to shag it nice. Game of Thrones is nothing new with Jaime and Cersei, and there's a lot going on with Jaime and Cersei in this episode. But with Jon and Daenerys, we all kind of pretty much knew that this was going to happen. I mean, it's hard to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow, but Targaryen, they keep it in the blood. They keep it in the bloodlines. I mean, it's not good, but at least it's not brother and sister like Jaime and Cersei. Just saying. I think that whole also moment leading up to finally really confirming what Jon's real name is, and that's Aegon Targaryen, which I don't give a shit. All right, Jon is not. Honestly, he's not a Targaryen. He is a Targaryen, but yet he's not. You know, he grew up as a Stark. He knows the ways. I think that's what the thing is about this whole Game of Thrones series. It really harkens back to Ned R. Stark. You know, Sansa and Arya in this episode reminiscing about Ned. And, you know, it's funny because, like, what about the mom? You know, what about Catelyn? What about, you know, their mom? And they never addressed that. But with Jon, it is, yes, he is the rightful king of, he's the rightful heir to the throne. But honestly, like, to me, he's never going to be a Targaryen. He's always going to be a Stark to me. And I think Jon's going to, when he finds out the news, because who are the two people in this episode that, when explaining this, and we did see a flashback with Rhaegar and Lyanna Stark, we saw that flashback, which I think everybody was kind of hoping, like, okay, let's see a flashback of those two. What boggles me is that Bran, alright, is able to see from the past and to the present, but he's able to see the past, right? A lot of things that are going on with the past. He's the only one that knows about Jon's parentage and his true, his somewhat of the true parentage until Sam came along and told him, like, oh, no, like, yeah, you know, that marriage that Rhaegar had, that got annulled, buddy. You know, go back to your little thing and see what's happened there. But you would think that Bran would go back to see what caused the war with Rhaegar and Lyanna and the Robert's rebellion. But Bran never did it. He needed advice from Sam. He needed to be told by Sam that no, the marriage was annulled with Rhaegar's first wife. I felt like some scenes in this episode were a little bit rushed or a little bit too slow. I still feel like the pacing was just kind of all over the place in this episode. I feel like there was a lot of moments that could have been better executed. I thought the execution was a little bit off in this episode. I did overall enjoy the hell out of the season finale, but I just wanted more from it. I wanted something. There was something missing. Remember when everybody was talking about that first meeting with Jon and Daenerys and how it was kind of lackluster? I felt like that was exactly what would happen, and I felt like that's exactly the right matter of, like, when those two first meet, because they don't know each other and there's not going to be anything sparks fly right away. But when it came to this whole finale, when it came to, like, the grand creme de la creme, everybody meeting up, that's, now I feel like, okay, that's what everybody was kind of talking about with Jon and Daenerys in that first meetup. That's what I'm feeling for this whole meetup with the whole group. By all means, there's still great lines delivered. There's still great interactions, especially with Lady Brienne and Jaime. But the execution on the maybe a little bit on the, I don't want to say too much on the actor's part, more of the writing and the direction part, where I feel like this should have been more epic. There should have been more, maybe even the editing. Maybe the editing should have been a little bit better to kind of bump this up a little bit more to 2 notches. But that's me. That's how I feel about in this episode. By all means, there's a lot of great things happening in here, but the dumb thing too is Arya and Sansa. I knew Littlefinger was gonna die. He died, and I loved how whiny and bitchy and how he tried to weasel his way out of it. I love that scene. I love how I love how Arya just goes over there and just like slices his throat, no hesitation. Love that. I think Arya, I knew Arya wasn't as dumb as she looks. I knew maybe Arya and Sansa were plotting together, and they did. What I didn't get was a lot of the interactions that Arya and Sansa had privately without Littlefinger's, outside the door, nowhere near, or even anybody to hear them. It was just those two talking together. How they still, why would they have to why were they saying some of the shit they were saying? It kind of doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. It still seemed like they were kind of distrusting each other all the way to the very end, where they finally figured out, let's just go kill Littlefinger. Of course, Bran played a big part of it. Still feel like the whole thing about Littlefinger's demise and just how, the plan, oh no, Arya and Sansa were always working together. I just felt like that wasn't executed as well. I just feel like this episode wasn't executed as well, especially, as much as I love the Ice Dragon, as much as I love the Night King, and as much as I love the White Walkers destroying the wall, I was expecting more of a fight. I was expecting more of kind of that wall just crumbling down just like that. It was a little letdown. I'm gonna be honest with you. As much as I love the spectacle of it all, I love how the whole thing just really starts crashing down. I was kind of with Tormund and the other guy, the Lord of Light guy who keeps getting revived. They kind of just stand there and watch, and yes, the dragon comes in, you're like, oh shit. But I kind of was, I don't know, I was hoping for something, I was expecting a little bit something different other than them just destroying the wall and then getting through it. Yes, it was leading up to season 8. That's awesome, but I just kind of hoped for a little bit more. I feel like the season finale just could have had a little bit more, a little bit more. As much as I liked the episode, I just absolutely didn't love it. It was bananas, by all means. There's a lot of things happening in this episode. We're like, oh shit. But the fast pace, the execution still, especially with Cersei. We all knew Cersei wasn't going to go along with these guys, even if she saw the White Walker. She still has a plan to destroy these people. She's not going to help them. Jaime was all ready to, get his troops, head to north and help out these people. But when Cersei revealed his, why Uncle Greyjoy left, and when Cersei reveals her true motive, and Jaime kind of leaves her, I love that part. But we all knew Cersei wasn't going to, I love the scene with Cersei and Tyrion. I really felt like that was a very well done scene. That the tension was there. That they haven't talked for a while, a long ass time. Everything was just kind of laid out. It was interesting though that Tyrion's like, oh, you're pregnant. They showed a scene. I thought Cersei was going to say, this is my child, but Tyrion kind of put 2 and 2 together. It was kind of awkward too, that editing. I don't know what's up with Bran though. What I took away from tonight's episode was Bran. Bran is so cold, so robotic. Really reminds me of the Night King and all these theories that are being thrown out there about him maybe being the Night King. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just the actor or if there's more to it. And we won't know until the very finale of the season 8. Daenerys and Jon, they're in love. I think Daenerys is going to get pregnant because they kind of mentioned it in the episode. If a lot of people a lot of you confused about why Tyrion was there and why he kind of looked so sad leaving, because I really think that Tyrion loved Daenerys. I think he actually thought, maybe I have a future with Daenerys myself. I really think he thought he had a chance, and seeing Jon and Daenerys hook up, it's like, well, it's I kind of knew that was going to happen too. And I've been hearing maybe it's foreshadowing that, that bittersweet ending that George R. Martin has said is, I think that Jon is going to die in season 8 at the end. Of course, I think Jon's going to die. Don't want to see my boy die, but I think he's a goner. I think Daenerys is either going to die in childbirth or she's going to die on the battlefield. She might be the last kind of, the last of the the last to kind of really stop maybe the White Walkers. You know, they need her, like, since Jon fell, they need Daenerys to rise up, something like that. Maybe both are the prince that was promised, something like that. And Tyrion looks after the baby. Maybe that could happen. I think the bittersweet means like, well, you know, one of your characters or both of your characters are dead, but at least they have lineage. At least they have something to care, like, you know, all about something like Tyrion used to say, you know, legacy. At least I have my legacy still about. So maybe that's the bittersweet ending. Who knows? Who knows? Only George R.R. Martin does, and his obsession with wieners. But yeah, it was a good episode. I just feel like it was a little bit of a letdown. It wasn't executed a little bit poorly. Cersei calling out those dragons was awesome, but we'll probably do more of a breakdown tomorrow, hopefully, with the Okius Taylor and Super Nerd 81. But overall, I did enjoy the episode. I just feel like it could have been better, you know. But I do love the runtime. Give me the runtime every episode of that next season. I think they want to do 6 episodes. 6 episodes is not enough, I believe. But it was good to see Littlefinger die. Thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. Like the video if you like it, and comment below. Love you guys' thoughts. And that was my season 7 finale of Game of Thrones finale review. Spoiler review, I guess. So to the King of the North, who is really the king. See you guys later.